So our store was at 460 Chapel Street, and when I was growing up and working in the store, we catered to the neighborhood. We sold fruits and vegetables. Went to the market every morning and bought the produce, brought it back and displayed it. But in the earlier days, in the beginning, early years of the 20th century, my father would tell us that before the neighborhood was predominantly Italian, the store really was more of a confectionery and sold candy, and we have old calendars from 1917 that were the advertising the candy and the fancy fruit that we sold. And my father would talk about the Sunday excursions that would come to Bell Dock, and people would then walk down East Street, down Chapel, go to downtown New Haven, visit Yale, and along the way they would stop, and they would stop in the store and buy the candy and the fruit. We have a picture of the store during those years, that's during the century, and you could see the grapes, bunches of grapes hanging in the window, where you probably, take a bunch, you would cut it off the string, and that would be your treat. But mostly, in my recollection, as I was growing up, the store was a place where people came to buy what they were going to eat that day. So the women would come in the morning, they would see what was fresh, what looked good, the vegetables and the fruit that we got, and that's what they would cook for supper. We also opened early in the morning because the men on their way to work, the sergeants or Shellhorn or the rubber factory, would come to buy the newspaper, they'd buy cigarettes, we sold tobacco, buy a piece of fruit, something that they would bring to eat with their lunch. And the other thing I think that with the square, for me, has a memory of it being a place where you could live there and you could work there, because so many of the people who lived there worked right there. Women worked in the needle trades. We had dress factories and shirt factories. The men worked in the other factories, and of course people had all kinds of stores, meat markets and grocery stores and restaurants and bakeries, so that you really didn't have to leave the neighborhood unless you wanted to. Everything you needed was right there. And I think that's why so many of us have those strong feelings about neighborhood and community, because it was really a place where you could spend your whole day and not leave, and you didn't want for anything. And not to mention, the good neighbors and the people that were all, good people to have as neighbors. So